an instant amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There's an instant amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There's an instant amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Thursday, June 25th, 2020. My name is Thomas Hunt, and this is the World Crypto Network. The price of Bitcoin is down 0.64% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 9,237, a high of 9,348, and a low of $9,011. That's $1 for 10,825 Satoshis. Volume's very high for a Thursday, with 6,017 Bitcoins changing hands. The market continues to lean margin long, with 82% now heading that direction. Bitcoin dominance was at 65%. Well, that almost worked. Let's try one more time, just because I want to do it right. You are watching The Thomas Hunt Show on the World Crypto Network. And now, the Bitcoin news. 4 reasons Bitcoin price suddenly slid below 9K, liquidating $55 million. The price of Bitcoin dropped below 9,000 as several factors put pressure on BTC/USD, including correlation with global stock markets. The price of Bitcoin dropped below 9,000 from 9,660 within 7 hours. The 7% plunge comes as $55 million worth of long futures contracts were liquidated on BitMEX. 4 factors are likely behind the sudden decline in the price of the top cryptocurrency by market capitalization, namely stock sliding, selling pressure from miners, an extended period of low volatility, and the repeated rejection of $10,000. It's a bad day for stocks and a bad day for Bitcoin. Stocks futured opened slightly higher Wednesday evening after a sharp sell-off during the regular market session, with the Dow dropping 2.72%, its worst day in 2 weeks. As regularly reported, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies dropping with global market has become a common theme in recent months. The realized one-year correlation between Bitcoin and the S&P, for instance, has spiked during this time to nearly 40% correlation. 40% of the time, Bitcoin is matching the S&P. As pointed out by analyst Philb last Friday, from a technical point of view, the market remains overall bullish despite consolidating below resistance at $10,000. However, he warned that shorter-term price action remains largely at the mercy of the wider economy, particularly while Bitcoin consolidates on low volume. We've also had reports that miners are selling Bitcoin. Various data points from Glassnode, CryptoQuant, and ByteTree indicate miners are selling Bitcoin en masse. According to researchers from Glassnode, the largest inflow of Bitcoin to exchanges was observed on June 24th. Yesterday, we observed the largest flow of Bitcoin from miners to exchanges in over a year. This was primarily due to large miner transfers to Bitfinex, totaling 2,650 Bitcoins. When miners start to sell their Bitcoin reserves, specifically after a key difficulty adjustment, it can leave the Bitcoin exchange market vulnerable to a short-term pullback. Previously, Willy Woo explained that miners account for one of the 2 types of unmatched selling pressure for Bitcoin. Woo wrote, "There's only 2 unmatched sell pressures on the market. 1, miners who dilute the supply and sell onto the market. This is the hidden tax via monetary inflation. And 2, the exchanges who tax the traders and sell onto the market. If the miners sell millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin when volatility has been low for weeks, it can trigger a massive price movement in a short period of time. This price move was expected due to the tightening range and low volatility. Traders expected the price of Bitcoin to see an abrupt increase in volatility in the short term since mid-June. Bitcoin showed lackluster price movements in the past month, while the open interest of futures exchanges continued to increase. That means a growing number of investors have anticipated Bitcoin to move, but the uncertainty between buyers and sellers at a pivotal point caused volatility to remain low. Data provider Skew said the realized volatility of Bitcoin dropped 30%, the lowest so far this year. The resulting lull finally ended for the first time since the last break from low volatility on June the 12th. Despite the repeated rejection of $10,000, traders remain optimistic. The price of Bitcoin has ranged between $10,000 and $6,000 most of the time for the past 10 months. 3 consecutive rejections of the $10,000 price level since October 2019 said Bitcoin to see a potential triple top, which would materialize if Bitcoin falls below 8,000 in the near term. At the same time, many traders remain optimistic for multiple reasons. Currency trader Satoshi Flipper, for example, believes that even if Bitcoin drops to the 7,000s in the second half of 2020, Bitcoin is on track to test 14,000. He said, "There's an excellent chance we can dip into the 8Ks, even 7Ks on our way to test 14K. That path doesn't make me any less bullish than if we went straight up from here. I still think we'll test 14K before the end of the year. It really all depends upon stocks." A confluence of fundamental factors, including the current correlation with stocks, the unexpected selling of minor reserves, may weaken the short-term trend of Bitcoin. Over the long term, however, analysts generally anticipate a positive trend heading into the year's end. Just like to ask everyone to give us a thumbs up and a share, whatever platform you may be watching us on. Hopefully, we'll stay on YouTube today. We'll talk more about that later. Bitcoin option market faces record $1 billion expiry on Friday. We talked about this, and now it looks even worse with the dip and then the possible larger dip caused by these options expiring. Keep an eye on everything. Tomorrow is Friday. Kind of a surprising story here. Open source Bitcoin project BTC Pay Server receives a $150,000 grant from Kraken. Nice to see Kraken supporting open source technology here, although I don't know how it exactly benefits Kraken, so I'm not sure about this one. I do like BTC Pay Server. It was created as a reaction to BitPay, who continued to work against Bitcoiners and to work against Bitcoin, working on payment codes and other systems that allowed them to control Bitcoin instead of just using Bitcoin directly. BTC Pay Server allows you to do most of the features you could do with BitPay, but it's open source and free. So why did Kraken give them money? I guess it's a PR thing. Other than that, I'm not seeing it. And if I was an investor, I'm not sure why they're investing in random open source software. I guess if Kraken's maybe going to use this software, it doesn't seem like Kraken's going to use this software. So yes, Kraken is randomly investing in Bitcoin projects. It's laudable, it's nice, it's a cool open source project. But if I was an investor in Kraken, it seems like you could have spent this $150K on marketing or on improving the product or anything. Researcher Satoshi Nakamoto apparently didn't mind Bitcoin for the first 5 minutes. According to the latest research from Sergio Demen Lerner, Satoshi likely restrained himself from Bitcoin mining for the first 5 minutes of the block interval. So pretty interesting. It looks like he waited 5 minutes. No one knows why he would wait 5 minutes. One explanation is to give other miners the chance to get Bitcoin for themselves. It's interesting stuff. They say in the beginning there were very few miners besides Satoshi, and he possessed significantly more hash rate than the rest of the network. Satoshi was fully aware that it was paramount for the success of Bitcoin to get as many people involved as possible. In a way, Satoshi might have been spotting other miners. The first 5 minutes, it's all yours, but if there's no one to mine, he'd get the job done. Interesting observations about the early state of the Bitcoin network in 2009 when Satoshi was the only miner. Up until block 16,000, Satoshi must have had around 99% of the total hash rate. Pretty impressive stuff. Early Bitcoin history. Starting to cough pretty good at this point. We'll see what's going to happen. A hacker group stole 200 million from 5 Bitcoin exchanges. The hacker group used spear phishing attacks, targeted fake emails targeted at people in the company or otherwise, to gain access to the crypto exchanges, and it proved to be effective. So it wasn't a very fancy attack. It was mainly spear phishing, where they give you the password because you trick them. So you don't have to be that fancy a hacker, at least to hack 5 Bitcoin exchanges for $200 million. Impressive. Check out the World Crypto Network store at worldcryptonetwork.store. You could be among the 3 or 4 people who have this T-shirt. You would be the only one on the internet with this T-shirt. Limited time only. T-shirts at worldcryptonetwork.store. You could also check out the World Crypto Network podcast at Apple iTunes, Spotify, Overwatch, Spreaker, and other places where podcasts are served. Check out the World Crypto Network audio podcast today. The price of Bitcoin was down 0.66% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 9,241, a high of 9,348, and a low of 9,011. That's $1 for 10,820 Satoshis. The market continues to lean long, with 82% headed that direction. Bitcoin dominance was at 65%. Volume was high for a weekday, with 5,970 Bitcoins changing hands. Checking out the news from yesterday, I'm sad to announce that we were briefly censored yesterday. As Bitcoin Dragon said, YouTube deleted during the Colbert segment. Yesterday, I was very excited by Stephen Colbert's fantastic interview with John Bolton. I thought it was important, I thought it was well done, and I wanted to discuss the way in which he did the interview, in addition to playing the actual clips of the interview, so that you could listen to it and make up your own mind. That's called news, it's called commentary, and it's called fair use, and it's protected under the United States Constitution. YouTube, however, took away our fair use and gave it to the CBS Corporation. The CBS Corporation stepped in and said, yes, you're using our Colbert content, so regardless of the realities of fair use, which, as we know, fair use is a doctrine in the law of the United States that permits limited use of copyright material without having to first acquire permission from the copyright holder. Let's see, it goes on, has the different types of fair use. Let's see. Examples of fair use in United States copyright law include commentary, search engines, criticism, parody, news reporting, research, and scholarship. Fair use provides the legal, unlicensed citation or incorporation of copyrighted material in another author's work under a four-factor test. Clearly, in this use, our use was news reporting as well as commentary and criticism. So it required three of the potential fair uses. However, YouTube cut us off in the middle of the show, deleting our content, then removed our ability to appeal the warning. We received a warning, then, because they cut off our show in the middle, they claimed that we, the user, deleted the content and now had no right to appeal. So we've been giving a warning that we can appeal, that we cannot appeal. So it's gotten a little Orwellian around here. Here's some tweets where I reacted to the news yesterday. I think I did pretty well. Again, fortunately, we're using Open Broadcaster here, which is creating a recorded version of this show live on my computer with the video and the audio. So when I found out YouTube had cut off our stream midway, it wasn't that big a problem because I had an exact copy of the stream. Thanks to Open Broadcaster for this. If we'd been broadcasting directly to YouTube, I likely never would have known that I was cut off and would have kept talking for another 2 hours into nothing. So it is actually pretty good that we switched to the restream model, where this show is available on Twitter, on @MadBitcoins, @WorldCryptoNet. It's also available on Facebook and YouTube, but Facebook also removed our video. Facebook did not give us a chance to appeal or to get the original video back up. They said that we used 6 minutes and 12 seconds of The Colbert Show, which I'm sure we did under the fair use laws, news, internet, commentary, criticism, which is what we do. So we're going to keep working with this, but I don't know how long we're going to be on YouTube. I have re-uploaded the video to YouTube, and of course the company has claimed it. However, as it is an uploaded video instead of a live stream video, they're probably just going to claim all of the advertising from the entire video rather than having the video taken down. However, it's very difficult. We can't get rid of this warning because YouTube's obviously never used their platform before, so they never considered what would happen if a user was live streaming, was claimed by CBS, they canceled the live stream, then the user can't appeal because they say the content is deleted. It's a catch-22. So I'm not sure why they did that. It's a strange bug in their system, but then again, they never actually test the parts of YouTube that people use. A little more detail. Why did we get striked? Well, I think, I played YouTube off of Twitter, I played video directly off of YouTube. Normally, I've been playing little Twitter videos, and presumably YouTube doesn't have a database of Twitter videos, so they're not checking that. Then on the other side, that's a great time for this. On the other side, they just can't tell because it's Twitter videos. Also, I think it's possible because I went full screen and added a full screen mode to this show that they may have video watermarked it or video thumbprinted it somehow to tell that it's a video. So I've added another little border around the full screen video. So hopefully that little border will help disguise the video. Also, I'm going to intentionally try not to play YouTube videos, sticking to Twitter videos. And I'm considering a library and other decentralized content platforms to try to get this show on there. So maybe it'll be safer. Sorry about the pauses here. I'm coughing pretty good this morning, drinking a lot of water, drinking a lot of tea. I think it's just a cough. But, everyone thinks they're about to die as soon as they get a cough. So It's a great time to be alive. There was a hearing yesterday on the House Judiciary about William Barr, Attorney General, and the firing of U.S. attorneys investigating Donald Trump. Let's check that out.
The public doesn't seem to be paying attention to the things that he's been saying about these outrageous things that have been uncovered. He doesn't understand why people aren't paying enough attention to his reports on the Durham investigation. Well, that is gross violation of the Justice Department's policies, even if the facts were true, which I frankly think they clearly are not. So we have a real problem here, and the drumbeat of his misbehavior is accelerating as we get closer to the election. I don't know what's next, but I'm scared to think about what it might be. Sunday.
A scary warning from Department of Justice whistleblowers testifying on Capitol Hill. A couple more updates on the fair use issue. CBS did give us a claim. We were not allowed to appeal this claim. Apparently the lesson today is don't play any YouTube videos on my YouTube show, which seems really counterintuitive. I remember YouTube was started in 2005 as a video uploading website for users. YouTube allows users to upload, view, rate, share, add to playlists, report, comment on videos, and subscribe to other users. Most content on YouTube is uploaded by individuals, but media corporations, including CBS, the BBC, Vivo, and Hulu, offer some of their material via YouTube as part of the YouTube Partnership Program, which must be more important than the videos that we offer to YouTube, because CBS is able to shut down your show in the middle of your show, no matter what the fair use aspects of your content are. Pretty creepy, huh? Of course, we reacted well. Since I had a backup copy, I instantly uploaded the episode to Vimeo. So keep an eye on World Crypto Net Twitter and Mad Bitcoin's Twitter. The episode is now on Vimeo, and later today I'm going to go ahead and try to make it public on YouTube and see what happens. I guess it's different because it's been uploaded rather than streaming it live. We also received a warning on Facebook. They said the video was blocked because it contains 6 minutes, 12 seconds of music, audio, or video that may belong to CBS Entertainment copyright. I wonder if they've ever considered that they're on the wrong side of fair use and they're siding with the corporations over the people. I guess they figured that out because the corporations pay them. Fair use examples include commentary, search engines, criticism, parody, news reporting, research, and scholarship. This would very clearly be news reporting, clearly fair use. In honor of CBS shutting down my YouTube show, I went over to try out library.io, LBRY. I went ahead and uploaded one of my other banned videos, a video from my Ships Only series, Top Gun Ships Only, which was removed by YouTube after they allowed it for a couple of years. They likely removed it because they wanted to promote the new movie. They couldn't have me enjoying Top Gun. Also, check out Related. There's an article in Popular Mechanics about my Ships Only films called This Genius Slices Star Trek Movies to Just Ships. Goodbye long-winded exposition. Hello space battles. And you can check out Thomas Hunt Films on YouTube. I have a bunch of Ships-only movies there right now. My most popular video ever, Empire Strikes Back, Ships Only, has 1.3 million views, above my previous champion, IG88 music video, which had 790,000 views. Both of these videos have great comment sections where they talk about everything from Star Trek, and they all criticize scenes that I've left out of the movie. It's pretty fun stuff. So you can check those out, and I'm going to consider uploading maybe a new video each day to Library. They're also working on synchronizing the World Crypto Network archive and the Mad Bitcoins archive. So you can check those out soon on the Library Network. And yeah, we're giving it a try. So Caesars Entertainment will require everyone inside its properties to wear face masks at all times beginning today. Turns out they're going to try to save Las Vegas. What's the expression? Closing the barn door after the cows have gone. Caesars broke this news midway in the day, getting ahead of an announcement by Governor Sisolak. Governor Sisolak obviously got played by the Caesars Corporation. He likely warned them and gave them a heads up that he planned to announce mask wearing later in the evening. Instantly, Caesars went to the stock market and announced it to try to get ahead of the other companies so they could say that they were making their customers safe a full 6 hours before MGM. So Sisolak totally got played. It was funny. Put up a bunch of tweets about it. Caesars just stole this news from the governor. He made the mistake of telling them first. Nevada will mandate mask wearing in public tonight. And they did. They did. Straight up theft, yo. We got robbed, as the Fresh Prince says. And, yo, Governor Sisolak, I like your shoes. Because he looked like a clown. So he needs to get better at that. They also said his audio and video during his evening announcement was terrible. The kind of terrible audio and video we've come to expect from the governor of Nevada. He could just come over here. He could wear a mask. I'd leave the room. He could use my microphone. It's better than the one he has. And check out the World Crypto Network Banned episode. It's now on audio podcast as well. So we can't be stopped. We can't be censored. We have other platforms. But YouTube certainly gave it a try yesterday. We'll see how it goes today. Check out valet parking in the Las Vegas Strip 2020. They covered the seat and the steering wheel with plastic. What a world we live in now. So everyone's afraid of everything. Speaking of being afraid, Trump is ending funding for 13 coronavirus testing sites in 5 states. This is an example of Trump slowing testing in broad daylight. It's criminal. It's going to cost people their lives. Floridans are angrily claiming masks are the work of the devil because they want to throw God's wonderful breathing system out the door. These were pretty crazy, but it's only a minute. Let's give this a try. This is from CNN. And, of course, it's from Florida.
At a commissioners' meeting in Florida's Palm Beach County, anger erupted after a unanimous vote to make masks mandatory. This turned downright ugly. Here was the scene.
You literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that that mask is killing people. It literally is killing people. And we the people, are waking up.
Just for the record, doctors and nurses wear masks all day long for years and years at a time. If doctors and nurses were getting dumber or poisoning themselves from CO2 inhalation or whatever nonsense these people believe in, we'd have all kinds of problems. Think about it logically. Doctors and nurses wear masks all day long for years and years and years.
And we know what citizen's arrest is, because citizen's arrests are already happening, okay? And every single one of you that are obeying the devil's laws are going to be arrested. And you, doctor, are going to be arrested for crimes against humanity.
The problem with humanity today is ignorance, arrogance, and apathy. Keep taking the road of least resistance. Keep listening to the TV brainwashing you from birth.
And they want to throw God's wonderful breathing system out the door. You're all turning your backs on it.
Doctor, I really have many question marks about your degrees and what you really know. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't think that you are worthy of your credentials. And I would ask suggestively that you go back to school and get educated.
All right, Florida. Thanks so much, Florida. We're so glad that you're a state in the United States. It's a great idea. We should have kicked you out after the 2000 stolen election. Just insane there from Florida. And of course, there's more news. On the bright side, Caesars is making their gaming floors non-smoking. On the downside, they said that you can continue to eat and drink and to take off your mask. And as anyone who's been to Vegas knows, you're pretty much eating and drinking the whole time. So it's not a great rule. But what else could they do? They have to let people eat food. Here's another cut from the House's hearing on William Barr, former Deputy Attorney General Donald Eyre. Let's see what he has to say about William Barr.
Today. Good afternoon, Chairman Nadler, Ranking Member Jordan, and members of the committee. Thank you very much for inviting me to appear today. I was privileged to serve in the Department of Justice under 2 Republican and 1 Democratic president, and I am here because I believe that William Barr poses the greatest threat in my lifetime to our rule of law and to public trust in it. That is because he does not believe in its core principle, that no person is above the law. Instead, since taking office, he has worked to advance his lifelong conviction that the president should hold virtually autocratic powers. That includes immunity from nearly all checks and balances and being able to accord special treatment to himself and his friends. The system that Barr is working to tear down was put in place in the aftermath of the Watergate scandals, which involved extensive government corruption and caused a widespread loss of trust. Good afternoon, Chairman Nadler, Ranking Member Jordan, and members of the...
He called Barr the greatest threat that he has seen in his career. He says that he does not believe in the core principle of the United States, that no person is above the law. Congratulations to Mitch McConnell, the worst senator of all time. He's reached a milestone on judges by filling the final circuit court vacancy. Maybe Congress can just go home for the rest of the Trump administration now. The judges have been filled. The Republicans have succeeded remaking the federal judiciary more conservative, more white, and more male. Just the kind of judges that we're going to want and need in the coming years. Expect a lot of great justice from the Trump-McConnell justice system. They also appointed multiple Supreme Court vacancies, even stealing Justice Garland's seats from Obama. Way to go, Mitch McConnell. You're the greatest criminal in American history. You did it. You ruined the country. Thanks. Las Vegas locally writes, to everyone threatening not to visit Las Vegas if they have to wear a face mask, we're okay with that. We really are. Wearing a face mask protects other people to ensure they don't get the virus in case you have the virus. It's just that simple. Don't get other people sick. Wear a face mask. Maybe we could still go out a little. We could go to the store. People need to stop referring to Russia's ongoing hybrid warfare against the United States as election meddling. Putin isn't a Karen sticking his nose in America's democratic process. He's a mob boss who runs a nuclear-armed mafia state, and his goal is to destroy the United States. That does seem like something we should take seriously. Unless, of course, we worked for Putin, and then it's fine, right? How the web became unreadable. Great article from Wired magazine. Of course, Wired is making the web unreadable as well with their giant half-page cookie warning. Ironic article from Wired magazine. John Bolton tells Wolf Blitzer it's incomprehensible that President Trump would hold rallies like he did in Oklahoma or Arizona because it's endangering people. Oh, John Bolton, you're so funny. If only you'd testified in the impeachment trial, maybe President Trump wouldn't be holding rallies to endanger people. It's just more dead bodies for your house, John. I can't wait to write the first line of John Bolton's obituary. Failed to testify before the impeachment hearing. Failed to testify. We've been talking about the coronavirus for weeks. This rebound was preventable. We talked about it. We told you about it. We all knew it was going to happen. And now it's here, and everyone's freaking out, including the stock market. On the coronavirus, John Bolton, traitor to the United States, says it's a strange world where the United States isn't leading on a global effort to deal with this. It's not the World Health Organization that can do this. It's ultimately the United States, and we have stepped back. Maybe you should have testified, John Bolton. Maybe you had evidence that they did lean on Ukraine, and they even leaned on China. You had evidence of new crimes, and you refused to tell the American people, all so you could write a lousy book and make $2 million. That's the rest of his obituary. They could probably fit most of that on the tombstone. $2 million, ratted out the country, failed to testify. John Bolton, terrible mustache, terrible human being. Remember about a month ago when the World Wrestling Entertainment Foundation was still having wrestling matches in Florida because the people needed their entertainment? Well, it turned out that multiple people in WWE who have been at the Performance Center for these exciting fake matches tested positive for COVID-19 this week, including in-ring talent. So it doesn't matter how big your muscles are or that you're in the state of Florida, you can still get the coronavirus. So much for that plan. Bitcoin.org seems like Cobra is attempting to seize control of the website. Seems that we're well on our way to losing Bitcoin.org the way we lost Bitcoin.com, except that it was just sold to a random person, and then they sold it to Roger Ver, and now it's gone forever. So the Bitcoin Twitter account is gone, Bitcoin.com is gone, and it looks like Bitcoin.org will be gone soon. So pretty soon it's going to be very difficult to tell people anything true about Bitcoin with all these fake sources running around. Robert Reich says, with 4% of the world's population, America now has 25% of the world's deaths from COVID. It is a terrible misfortune that at this time we are headed by someone who sees it only as an impediment to his re-election. Doesn't even see it as a health crisis. Who even cares? There's Nevada. No shirt, no shoes, no mask, no service. If only they'd started this weeks ago and we'd opened up. If only they'd prevented all those people from coming here and spreading the virus and taking it back home. If only they'd been proactive. I remember when Governor Sisolak failed to require mask wearing in Nevada, he said he was afraid of a rebellion. Well, now you've got a rebellion of dead people, zombies walking around, skeletons, future zombies, future dead people. Thanks so much for not having a rebellion of stupid people and dooming the rest of us by not wearing masks. Here's the new cases, daily new confirmed COVID-19 cases per 1 million people. This is the 7-day moving average. The number of confirmed cases is lower than the number of actual cases. The main reason of that is limited testing. You can see the United States all out alone, this red line, and peaking straight, almost straight up. Almost every other country in the world is going down and declining. It's unbelievable. And the EU is even considering banning people from the United States. So then we'll really be stuck here. Nowhere to go. No escape. Florida is considering to fix bar charts just like their friends in Georgia. We can see here the bar chart seems to be declining, but if we look at the actual numbers, 3,200, 3,800, that's up actually. 4,000, that's up more. 3,400 is a decline. 2,900 is a decline. But these numbers do not match the bar chart. What are you doing, Florida? If you're wondering how masks work, this is how masks work. You can see right here, 2 people not wearing masks. This is the highest risk. Every bit of droplet and virus coming out of the person on the right's mouth reaches the person on their left. Their face is practically covered with virus thanks to this asshole on the right not wearing a mask. Meanwhile, if we get this guy on the left to wear a mask, it's only slightly better. All the red particles are still coming at him from this jerk who doesn't wear a mask. Then, here it is with both of us wearing masks. This normal guy here and this infected guy over here, the jerk not wearing masks. He's put on a mask. Now, hardly any particles reach the other person. Then, the trifecta, the complete one here, the thing at the end, the perfecta, I don't know. 6 feet. We both wear masks. We say 6 feet away this way. If the guy on the right is sick, he's only spreading particles out here in the air. They never reach the person on the left. So it's just that simple. If you don't understand, I will go through it again really slowly, just one more time for you. When you don't wear a mask, you're spreading the virus. When you don't wear a mask and other people wear a mask, you're still spreading the virus. When you both wear masks, you're almost not spreading the virus. When you both wear masks and you stay 6 feet apart, then you're not spreading the virus. Join us on Team Human. Fuck Team Virus. Fuck the coronavirus. Beat the coronavirus. Wear a mask. That's it. A new Japanese study says that face masks save lives. Mask wearing rate was found to be the strongest predictor for the number of deaths per million. The more mask wearing, the less deaths. It's just that simple. I was reminded of my chance to go on a cruise ship, the only cruise that I went on and probably the only cruise I'm going on. And I really took full advantage of it to make that on a boat video. If you look at the quote here, it says, "Luck is when preparation meets opportunity." I was prepared. I'd filmed stuff in the past. I had a good idea of what I wanted it to look like. And I went out there and executed. So it's pretty cool stuff. You can now check out the Mad Bitcoins on a boat video from the Working Man's Bitcoin Conference, which was held on a cruise ship. How fun was that? Probably never doing that again, but still fun. Apple just crippled IDFA, sending a $80 billion industry into upheaval. And IDFA used to allow advertisers to track you on multiple sites. It's one of the things where you'd be reading an article on Google, you'd go to Facebook, and they would have an advertisement about the article that you just read because they know you were reading it. Apple has changed this. They still offer that service, but they now tell the users, would you like to be tracked by this website on every website you visit? And the users, of course, are going to say, no, I would never want that. That's horrible. So it's a really clever move by Apple. The industry can't get mad at them. They're still technically offering the feature, but the users now get a choice. So very cool as Apple continues to focus on privacy to differentiate themselves from the rest of the market. They also announced at their developer conference that they're going to start doing more of the processing for Siri locally on the phone. They also said the translation engine will be local. The more things that are local, the less data has to leave your phone and the less chance of that data being aggregated and analyzed by others. So good stuff by Apple. Somebody's working in the right direction. Alan Silbert agrees with me. He says, I'm sure glad they threw everybody into the Vegas Petri dish for a week before figuring this out. And again, everyone knew this. Everyone knew that masks prevent virus. The governor was worried about a quote-unquote rebellion. Sounds like a rebellion of stupid people who want to spread the virus. I think we should just put them all together in one room and see what happens. Texas is experiencing a massive outbreak of COVID-19, as predicted when they had the worst testing situation, yet decided to reopen anyway. Any moron could have seen this, but not the governor of Texas. The governor of Texas now says cases multiply and hospital systems in the state's biggest cities are straining to handle the influx of patients. Almost just like we predicted 2 weeks ago. Apple is temporarily closing 7 Houston stores as the COVID-19 outbreak worsens in Texas. Yes, It's always been true, and it's going to become more and more true. You can't reopen the economy until you kill off the virus. I don't know how many times we have to say this. I don't know why there's other people that believe the opposite, but you can't do it. Apple closing these stores caused the entire NASDAQ to go down yesterday. People are thinking they won't be able to shop for Apple products in stores, so they're likely going to buy less stuff. Less demand, less profits, less money. You'd think that the stock market would go down. We'll see. This didn't have to happen. Look at New York. New York got the coronavirus under control. You can see the blue line here, the declining cases in New York. However, the rest of the country just went ahead and went crazy with that virus, just went out of control with it, spreading the virus everywhere. Hashtag Team Virus. We told you it wasn't open then. We told you it could be closed if we just stay home 2 to 6 more weeks. But we didn't. We couldn't. People had to get haircuts. They had to go shopping at discount shopping stores. They had to buy stuff. They had to go to big crowds or have parties like my neighbors next door, and all stay around inside not wearing masks, spreading that virus at your party. Great stuff. New York City is going to paint Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower. Interesting stuff. Maybe a little revenge there from de Blasio or somebody like that. The famous rallying cry will be painted on 5th Avenue between 56th and 57th Street, right in front of the president's flagship high-rise that I don't think he even owns. He just puts his name on things. Max Kaiser says, America, your leadership has abdicated. Brace, brace, brace. And then he shows what looks like a brand new fighter jet, maybe even an F-35, crashing horribly. Seems like it's lost engines. Looks like the pilot's okay. But there we go, America. I guess that's our future. From Max Kaiser. Quote, the Raven said, White House to end federal support for COVID-19 test sites. And even he's pretty conservative. He says, oh my Christ. Yes, oh my Christ, America. What are you doing? It's hard to believe, but during yesterday's hearing in the House, Republicans repeatedly made noise and banged on tables to try to distract from the witnesses that were talking about the obvious corruption of Attorney General Barr in firing Berman, who was investigating the president. Let's listen to some of these idiot Republicans drumming on desks and making other noises like children. This has never happened in the history of Congress.
It needs to be said that Bill Barr does regularly lie in ways that impact official action.
Mr. Chairman, there's not order in the room. There's a banging.
No, there's certainly not.
Mr. Chairman, would you have Gene Krupa removed?
The witness will conclude.
That's what you said a while ago, and he didn't conclude.
The gentleman will suspend. The witness will conclude.
So I guess the last thing I want to sum up with, I've said all the rest of this, but the last point I'd like to make is that I think his crowning dishonesty in the face of what he is doing to the Justice Department is the picture that I saw in the New York Times a few weeks ago, a portrait of Edward Levy on the wall of his conference room, as though the current incumbent has anything but disdain for the beliefs and achievements of his predecessor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Making noise.
So listen to that scumbag banging again after being told not to. The House really doesn't have rules for this. They're not prepared for this. There's supposed to be a certain level of decorum among the representatives. I would be horrified if I found out that that was my representative. I'm pretty sure Gomert's from Florida. Again, why do we have these people in the union? Why don't they just leave? It was an interesting thing about the Civil War. It made secession illegal, except for the Republic of Texas, which has in their contract they could leave at any time. It also made slavery illegal. As much as at the time the goal was to not allow these states to exist as slave states, and that it was a, kind of a humanitarian thing to take them back and a humanitarian thing to keep them in the Union, and to not allow secession anymore because secession would lead to more slavery. I don't know. I think we should just let them secede. Just let them go. They're welfare states anyway. the California and New York pay the South to stay in this union. And then they send us representatives like that who bang on their desk during the hearing like a child and do it again after they're told to stop. I just can't believe it. It's just how bad we're getting. Here's an off-duty police officer not in uniform threatening a man in a viral video. He said, "We are the police," when the man threatened to call the police. Let's check out this short video. I might have to go over to the Hill. Let's see. This is an off-duty police officer in Missouri. He's been removed from his official duties. Oh, good. All web pages don't work because I have a stupid plugin. What plugin that breaks all web pages? A great plugin. So check it out from the Hill here. Here's an off-duty police officer harassing an American citizen.
An off-duty police officer in Missouri has been removed from his official duties and placed on administrative leave pending an investigation after he was seen in a viral video threatening a man following a car accident. St. Joseph's Police Department said in a statement that the agency has reviewed portions of the video and an investigation will be conducted. Quote, "Police officers are the most conspicuous representatives of government and, to the majority of people, they are a symbol of stability and authority upon which they can rely," the release states. "All matters involving officer misconduct allegations are and will be investigated by the department."
So you can feel safe.
Can I?
They'll be investigating themselves. Here it is. The real video came from Twitter, of course. Not on the Hill. So let's watch as this man on the left with the half shirt and the hat is a police officer. At least he claims to be. Certainly not wearing his uniform. So most officers know that they're not really police officers when they're not wearing their uniforms. They can't just be bossing around citizens. Let's listen to this police officer in Missouri. And also note the way that he's joined by a female officer. She is in uniform, and she backs up everything he says and does. So that whole good cops stopping bad cops thing just doesn't seem to work.
He's not in
Sit
uniform.
down.
Okay, I'll listen.
Sit down.
Please get out of my face.
Sit. You just hit my fucking car. Sit the fuck
Get
down.
out of my face.
Sit down. Sit down.
An officer's supposed to be respectful.
Sit down. I'm not working right now. I'm on vacation.
Look at her allowing him.
Sit down.
Sit down. Do what he says.
He's got a Trump hat, and he'll F him
You
up.
don't fucking lie to her about that bullshit. I just watched you hit me.
I'm
What is this
recording the whole
language?
thing.
Judge.
I will.
See who they fucking believe, bitch.
Look at that angry
Hey, will
man.
you get out of my vehicle, please?
Hey, sit down. Sit down.
Give me your phone. I want to call the police. I want a sheriff up here.
You're the police.
I will. No, you're not the police. I want a sheriff.
We are the
You're
police.
on duty.
Go in and get your phone.
I can't because he's going to do something stupid. And then I'm going to have to sue him in this city.
Well, if he does, it's all on camera, so. They have a camera, they have a camera, I
I
have a
don't
camera.
care if you have a camera or not. We've got one too, sir.
So there it is, an officer in Missouri, off duty, yelling and cursing at an American citizen, wearing a Trump 2020 hat, a tank top, and shorts. Just again, there's no police brutality problem. There's no wider problem. Everything is fine. Let's just keep going. We're going to make it. We're going to make it through the news. Trump can't even keep the people safe who are keeping him safe. Dozens of Secret Service officers and agents are told to self-quarantine after two employees tested positive for the coronavirus, along with 6 other advanced staffers. Once again, like Lawrence said the other day, Trump, like a vampire, continues to kill the people around him, to kill his supporters. No matter what happens, he must win. The price of Bitcoin dropped to $9,046 yesterday, a 4% drop in just a few minutes. It happened fast. Likely because of the continued spread of the coronavirus, which is going to destroy the mainstream economy, and Bitcoin will follow it down. As King Kobe at Crypto Cobain on Twitter writes, obviously from somewhere outside the United States, lucky bastard, how does this end in America? Everyone dies? Public health is political there. Lockdown will be impossible. The plebs are arguing about whether wearing a mask is oppression. while hospitalizations rise. And again, sometimes you can only really see things clearly from other countries, from other places in the world. But look at the top 5 U.S. states on June 24th. Arizona, South Carolina, Arkansas, Florida, and Texas. They're all leading the pack. Arizona almost going straight up here. You can see the absolute devastation as these states shouldn't have opened. Right here you can see it's under control. They have the lockdown going. Then, whoop, time to open. Time for people to die. In Las Vegas, 2 employees at the El Cortez Hotel and Casino tested positive for coronavirus. Once again, you can't reopen the economy without killing the virus first. Don't know why it's so difficult. This is exactly what we thought would happen. It's only just more painful because we predicted it and we talked about it. We put our neck out there on the line every day. We said, hey, there's going to be a second wave, you morons. Stay home. Wear masks. Again, we don't have the reach of, say, CBS Entertainment or whatever, but still, on the record, every day, we tell you. Opinion article in the New York Times, can we call Trump a killer? There's no way to remove his culpability in the neglectful handling of the coronavirus. And this is only at the article level. There's going to be book after book about this. There's going to be hearings. There's going to be investigations. And we're going to find out everything they did, said, and thought during this missing period. There's another article, hopefully I'll read, from the New York Times called How the Virus Won. Just came out yesterday. And it basically says if we had shut down at the beginning of March, 2 weeks earlier, we could have saved 30,000 lives. 30,000 lives. Trump's a killer. What he's saying about people is he's saying, let them suffer out of sight. Some will die, but so what? Vulnerable Americans are collateral damage in his image-making and re-election bid. It really is all about Trump. No one else matters. Sophia Benoit says, it's hard to believe that doing absolutely nothing that has worked in other countries for 3 straight months didn't solve this. Yes, we've had all the examples of China and Germany and other countries. We could have followed what they did. We could have learned from it, but we didn't. We just let everybody die. It was fun. Here's a small business revenue. It's heading back down. As Topher Spiro says, you really can't reopen the economy without containing the virus. And we've been saying this for weeks. Here you can see profit is down because of the lockdown. They reopened with the profit, and then now we've gone over the hump. Profit is going back down. Demand is gone. And you just taught everyone that going outside means death. You just taught everyone that going to Las Vegas means death. Going to a casino means death. Going to any inside space where people aren't wearing masks and where they're less than 6 feet away means death. So now it's going to be much harder to convince them to come out after the next lockout ends. There's going to be much more damage to demand, and it's going to be just that harder to get the economy started if and when we finally kill this coronavirus. Oakland Unified School District has voted to eliminate its police department. Kids don't feel safe with police in their school anymore. Things have shifted quite a lot. And here it is, the new article from the New York Times, How the Virus Won. Invisible outbreaks sprang up everywhere. The United States ignored the warning signs. We reconstructed how the epidemic spun out of control. And I don't know if it's going to let me read it. Oh, it's probably blocking all the text because I got a plugin that blocks all the text. Great plugin. And makes so the web doesn't work. Oh, good. New York Times says no subscription required, but you can't read it now. Oh, well. You guys should check it out. You might have to create an account. How the Virus Won in the New York Times. Basically, just from skimming it this morning, they have all the details about it going from point to point. They say New York City was a major spreader, especially when when Mayor de Blasio told everyone to go ahead and go about their lives, to keep going out to restaurants, to get out of town. That caused 2,500 people to go on vacation from New York, taking the virus with them. They talk about how one man took the virus to the Navajo Nation, infected the entire Navajo Nation. After they had a meeting with him, then they all went to church. They spread the virus there at church. Talks about all the movement in the country and how we continued to move even after we knew the virus was out there. All we had to do was stop the movement, stay home, wear masks. We could have beaten this thing. We could have been Taiwan. We could have been South Korea. Instead, we have an out-of-control virus and a president that just might be benefiting from it. He just might benefit. So America is bleeding out from COVID-19, and Trump is doing nothing to stop it, says CNN medical correspondent Sanjay Gupta on Thursday, delivering a scathing rebuke of the failure to control the coronavirus in the United States. People are dying, which again, everyone predicted when Trump was elected. Everyone thought this was possible when he was nominated, and so on and so forth. They thought we're going to get really bad. We're going to get to this point where something external happens. All the previous problems of the Trump administration had all been self-caused. They hired someone stupid. They fired them quickly. They hired someone else who said something stupid. They did something stupid. It was all self-caused, self-inflicted. But now with the coronavirus and the death of George Floyd and the protests in the street, external factors are now acting on the president, and he's completely unprepared to handle them. He's even giving up. He's canceling testing. He canceled those meetings after he told you to inject disinfectant and light inside of your human body to cure the virus. He stopped having meetings then. It's unbelievable. Unless he just wants to kill us all. If he wants to kill us all, it makes perfect sense. People are going to analyze this later, and they're going to work it backwards and forward, and they're going to say, what would you do if you wanted to kill us all? Well, I'd cancel testing, and I'd focus on reopening, and I'd tell people not to wear masks, and I myself wouldn't wear a mask in public to show people not to wear it, and I'd make fun of people who wore masks. And I'd do all this to try to spread the virus, to kill more people, because the people I work for don't give a shit about America. They don't give a shit about you. They just want you to die so they can get stronger. Yep, that's what I'd do if I wanted to spread the virus. It would look a lot like what Trump's doing. Oh, I would travel to places where the virus had a huge outbreak. Then I would get people to come indoors, take their masks off so they could listen to me speak. That's also something I do to help spread the virus. We don't know it now because we're in a bubble and because all these events are happening. But later on, all of the text messages, all of the emails, all of the phone calls, all of the meeting notes, all of the diaries and the journals, it's all going to be public. We're going to read it all. We're going to know everything they did and everything they didn't do. Always happens. Even the ones who try to burn it all. They can't burn it all. You can put as much of it down the memory hole as you want, as Orwell said, but someone always remembers that we were at war with East Asia before we were at war with Eurasia. Somebody just remembers that. Situation continues to get worse in Hong Kong. Get the hell out of Hong Kong. There was a public holiday in Hong Kong. 12 people were arrested for walking around the mall. A father holding a box of toys with his wife and son was threatened by riot police with pepper spray pointed at his face. It's the new normal, but don't get used to it. Get the hell out of Hong Kong. Waited long enough. Los Angeles County is now leading the nation in coronavirus cases. There's up to 150,000 deaths possible by July 18th. The Center for Disease Control, remember them? Remember when they used to give announcements and be an agency before all this happened? Yes, 150,000 dead Americans. It's coming soon. This White House is an absolute joke. Look at this video. The lack of any semblance of professionalism is pathetic. They're screaming in front of foreign dignitaries, and it's just embarrassing. They're having a meeting here with Polish officials, and they look amused, according to Aaron, amused as a White House official screams at reporters to leave the room. Let's listen in to the chaos inside the White House as these people are just unprofessional at every single level.
The U.S. troops will be sent to Poland.
Mr. President, how is it? They're leaving. Mr. President, how does it feel to have the president do it here?
The U.S. troops will be sent to Poland.
Press, let's go. Press, let's go. Thank you. What did you say, Mr. President? How does it feel to have the first foreign leader since the shutdown?
Let's go. Caitlin, let's go. Thank you. Let's exit. Thank you.
Why did you decide now was a good time to have the first foreign leader since all the
I
shutdowns?
think it's a great honor. And frankly, Poland's a country we have a tremendous relationship with, and I have a very good personal relationship.
The U.S. troops will
Also note that none of the Polish representatives are wearing masks. They've crammed them in on these couches, shoulder to shoulder. They're likely all spreading the coronavirus here. If you go 6 feet apart, they're not 6 apart. They're not 6 feet apart. They're not 6 feet apart. The virus could jump from Pompeo right here to Pence to Trump to the Polish dignitary to the rest of the Polish crew. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 people more with the press around here that could all get the coronavirus thanks to the president and others not wearing masks. What a horrible example they're setting here for everyone else. You should just go ahead and have your indoor meetings. Of course, secretly, we know that the president is checked for coronavirus every day, and everyone around him is checked for coronavirus every day. The testing is not stopping for the people around the president. The testing is stopping for you because you don't matter. Only the president matters. No one else. This is an unbelievable video. Once again, this is from, Arizona. I was going to say Florida. This is a city councilman who needs to resign today and never be in politics again. His name is Guy Phillips. If you know Guy Phillips in Scottsdale, Arizona, tell him he needs to resign right away. And brace yourself, everyone in the crowd. This is a horrible video. He's wearing a mask, but I'll just let him say stupid things for himself. Here we go. A councilman from Arizona who is going to resign within the next 24 hours.
Councilman Guy Phillips. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Seriously, fuck you. What a shithead. I can't breathe. Quoting George Floyd, who died with a police officer's knee on his neck after 8 minutes and 40 seconds, Councilman Guy Phillips mocks George Floyd's death by claiming that the mask he's wearing is causing him to not be able to breathe. I'd love to see someone put their knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds to see if he thinks it's so fucking funny. Another clown from Arizona, where again the virus is spreading like crazy. Resign today, Scottsdale City Councilman Guy Phillips. Never run for office again. What a monster. Joking. We've got breaking news from the Craig Wright v. Kleinman case. There are no default sanctions for Craig Wright, surprisingly. A trial by jury it is. It says in the document that perjury and fabricated evidence do not constitute fraud upon the court because they are all evils that can and should be exposed at trial. So pretty exciting stuff. It sounds like the Wright case is going to go to trial. Of course, it's open and shut. It seems like lies. You could just close it early. But in America, we want to just waste our time and have more trials and have more juries and just more money for the lawyers, right? The system works better when the lawyers get more money. Ava DuVernay is saying that it's jaw-dropping. She'll never get used to this behavior by the Republicans. The whole thread is atrocious and full of shameful behavior, such as Gomert banging on the desk. At another point, they were being critical of a man who is testifying by video. He has young children at home and didn't want to go outside, get the virus, and bring it home to his young children. It's totally reasonable, but the Republicans were acting like it wasn't. They're also wearing pathetic bandanas, while other people have switched up towards stronger surgical-grade masks. It's unbelievable. Check it out. TikTok is grabbing the contents of your clipboard every 1 to 3 keystrokes. iOS 14 is snitching on it with a new paste notification. So if you ever had your password or something in your clipboard, TikTok, this Chinese-made app, will steal your clipboard every 1 to 3 keystrokes. Great stuff from TikTok. And again, good job, iOS 14, warning users about what's happening with their data on their phone. If we didn't have this paste notification at the top, it wouldn't have been so easy to spot. Somebody would have actually had to test the application instead of just using it here and seeing TikTok pasting and pasting and pasting. Does America have a future? Today, Texas has 5,500 new coronavirus cases. Pakistan has 3,500. Pakistan has 7 times the population of Texas. So on a per capita basis, Texas alone has 7 times the coronavirus incidence of one of the poorest, most devastated countries on earth. So you'd be better off if you lived in Pakistan than Texas. Does America have a future? I'm not sure. Paul Krugman writes, "This is the chart that I think best captures the extent of the U.S. debacle. It adjusts for both population and the fact that the U.S. surge started later, and it's damning." Let's take a look at this graphic here. It's pretty much the same one we've been showing. You can see the European Union goes over the hump all the way down and has almost eliminated the coronavirus. The United States goes over the hump. Then, just as we're about to go down, we reduce the lock-in. We let everyone go back outside, which they do, and they don't wear masks. And whoop, we're right back where we started from, and maybe even higher. So just using our ability here to read the charts and such from the stocks and the Bitcoin, looks like we're establishing a higher high in coronavirus cases, meaning that if you look at this chart, you'd have to be very bullish about coronavirus cases in the United States. More people are going to die. More people are going to get sick. People need to wear their masks even more so. Meanwhile, in Europe, things are fine. And they're even going to start banning Americans and others from visiting Europe. So there goes Europe. Charles Johnson says, "The question that haunts me every day, what if Trump's destruction of the U.S. government isn't just incompetence, but deliberate malice?" And we're going to find out later. It's going to take 3 to 5 years. I don't know if there's going to be a country yet left. We might have to be writing this history in Germany or some other safer country. But many people like myself and far greater historians too will be writing the history of this time period, and they will be looking into the fact that the president could have been acting with deliberate malice to infect more people, to kill more people, especially as it's clear now that he cannot win the election through traditional means. Traditional means are out. He's down by 15 points. Faking the election by stealing it, attacking the voting machines or the tabulating machines, that's out. 15 points is too much. People can believe a 5-point swing. They're not going to believe a 15-point swing. So the only way to win is to postpone the election, and then postpone it again, and then postpone it again, and then postpone it again. Reasons to postpone the election: too much coronavirus. The other way to win is to say the election was illegitimate. You say there were too many mail-in voting, and because mail-in voting is fraud, the election is fraud, and Trump must stay in office. Remember, his loans to Deutsche Bank come due 2 years into his next potential term. So this is all or nothing. This is existential. If he loses, he has to pay the interest and he has to pay back those loans in 2 years. If he wins, he's the president of the United States. Deutsche Bank is going to give him an extension, presumably till after his term. Of course, Deutsche Bank won't know at that point that he's going to stay forever. But yes, we are down to it. There's no way to win through traditional politics. No one's showing up to the rallies. There's no energy and excitement. He has a 3-year record of doing nothing and actually making most situations worse. The only way to win is to postpone or to delegitimize. And he's working on both of them. Brian Adam Jones says, we need to talk about how important Andrew Yang was to the progressive wins we saw in New York last night. He sued to keep the presidential primary on the ballot. That was critical to maintaining momentum and high turnout for these progressive challengers. Once again, if Joe Biden hadn't put himself in a box where he can only pick people because of their sex or their color, why not Andrew Yang for vice president? He understands technology. Barack Obama himself told Vice President Biden that he should find the yin to his yang. He told him he should find someone who knows a lot about technology because Biden doesn't. He basically told him to pick Yang. But he can't because he put himself in a box at the convention saying that he would only pick a woman. Now, because of situations in the street and interviews that he's done, both on the interview, the interviewer, where Biden said the stupid thing about black people, he suggested that Biden should pick a black person to be his vice president. That was seconded by Amy Klobuchar, attempting to stab her rival Elizabeth Warren in the back on her way out the door. Vice President Biden can now only pick between a box which is getting constantly smaller of women who are in politics, who are in the Democratic Party, and now black women who are in politics in the Democratic Party. It's just getting smaller and smaller. He's pretty much down to Kamala Harris. She's a cop. And Stacey Abrams. She's a loser. Sure, I'd love to see, we talked about this the other day, Oprah would be a great one. She's a black woman. She's liberal. That would be fantastic. Michelle Obama would be a pretty shocking one. That would drive Trump absolutely crazy. It would be fun to see, and she's a great speaker. Very thoughtful. But again, I'd like to see Biden Yang. And if we really want to talk about interesting things and breaking it up, how about Biden Romney? Not a big Romney fan, but I did watch the documentary on Netflix, and he came out a lot more human in that documentary than he ever did in public. And the idea of throwing a Republican and a Democrat together, a throwback ticket to the early days of the state when the loser of the presidential election would become vice president. They used to do a lot more mixed tickets, generally resulted in chaos and backstabbing. But at this time, having a combined ticket of Biden-Romney to bring the country together to siphon more Republican votes away from Trump would be, again, when I choose vice president, I think people should choose the vice president that will make them win. I'm not choosing based upon a litmus test that they have to be this or they have to be that. I'm looking at what do they bring to the candidacy in votes or states. Romney, it's possible you could turn Utah blue. That would be incredible. Romney, as a Republican, could also help you take votes away from Trump in almost every state. So he would be an asset to the ticket. Whereas Kamala seems very law and order. I'm not sure how that's going to do for these times. And Stacey Abrams is a loser. So she lost the governorship of Georgia to the Secretary of State of Georgia, who rigged the election in his favor, then became governor and put himself in a position where he could open Georgia from the lockdown and kill their people. So it was a pretty important election that she lost. And just in general, we're looking for winners here. We're looking for somebody who's going to win. Picking your vice president by a litmus test is not the same as picking by who will make you win. That's all that matters now. Jet here writes, remember when there was this rich guy who turned out to be a massive rapist of young girls and also knew many famous people, including 2 presidents? And he got a sweetheart deal from prosecutors. And then he died in prison when rearrested. That was weird. Yes, it was weird. It's almost as if Epstein didn't kill himself. The United States has hit its single-day high of reported coronavirus cases. The federal government is silent, because that's what you'd want in a president. When there's a major crisis like this, you'd want him to say nothing and do nothing. Great choice for president, guys. Really great. And you sticking with him, even as he keeps doing nothing and killing people? You guys are heroes. You're a hero towards killing people. A sad farewell to Dr. Kirk Smith. Dr. Smith, more than anyone, documented the deadly risk of indoor air pollution from solid fuels, wood, charcoal, dung. He recognized that switching the planet to propane and butane can save millions of lives and help save the planet. Dr. Kirk Smith, a towering figure in environmental science, passed away at 73. William Barr has agreed to testify after he faced a threat of subpoena. Of course, by agreeing to testify, he can delay the testifying for at least 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll see if he shows. Barr has been scheduled to appear before the Judiciary Committee, but has never appeared. So we'll see if it happens this time. Balaji says it's perhaps obvious, but it strikes him that dollar-weighted followers are an important part of the future. Platforms like Substack, Patreon, Ghost, and Locals allows writers to optimize their dollars. Dollowing is a scarce and directly valuable behavior, unlike following. And if you wanted to support the World Crypto Network, you could always join us on our Patreon account. 9 people are donating around $5 a month, around 54 total, to the World Crypto Network to help us keep making these shows. So thanks so much to the 9 people who donate. If you'd like to donate, you could donate for as little as $5 a month. It'll charge your credit card. You'll never have to spend Bitcoin. And you could help support the World Crypto Network at patreon.com/WCN. That would make you a dollar-weighted follower, and you would be providing a scarce and directly valuable behavior, unlike following. Interesting stuff from Balaji. Trump won't be following the New Jersey quarantine order when he visits the state. He's not going to wear a mask, and he's going to go golfing in violation of the quarantine. He's also having another large rally in New Jersey to help spread the coronavirus and kill more people. That's classy. So classy. North Carolina fired 3 police officers after a conversation about slaughtering black people and having a second civil war. So much for that. There's just a few bad apples in the police department. It's not a very good argument when so many of them seem to be bad. It's almost as if there's just a few good apples, and you'd have a really hard time finding them. Another 1.5 million Americans filed for unemployment last week. The stickiness that we see in claims is a reason to be concerned. Pay no mind. And we talked about Kraken donating $150,000 in Bitcoin to the open source BTC Pay server, which is great, but I'm not sure how it benefits Kraken. You paid a lot of money for a news story that'll go away in 3 to 4 days. So, good one, Kraken. Wearing masks should not be a partisan issue. Please wear a mask for everyone's safety, writes Governor Sisolak, who didn't require masks before because he feared a rebellion. Now he fears that Vegas is a place where people go to get sick, and people bring the virus home with them to kill their family. They're never going to want to go to Vegas again. Good job, everybody. The White House says that Trump will not change his plan to travel to New Jersey Club this weekend, despite a new order by the governor requiring visitors who have been in states with high numbers of coronavirus cases to quarantine for 14 days. Trump will also be bringing his staff I remember last time he traveled with his staff, 6 members of the advance team in Tulsa got the coronavirus, as well as 2 Secret Service agents. Pretty soon, there'll be no one left. They'll all be in quarantine. Early on in this crisis, when some of the people tweeting the most loudly about it were VC types like Balaji, they made the argument that they were intuitively had a feel for exponential growth better than most people. And I think that view has been vindicated. Balaji and others were right about mask wearing weeks and months before the rest joined us. We saw it all coming. We knew it was a good thing to do, and we were shocked as why people were not doing it. And now people are not wearing masks as they're macho and they're strong, and the virus doesn't care. The Treasury sent more than 1 million coronavirus stimulus payments worth $1.4 billion to dead people. The IRS has no plan to recoup the payments beyond requesting they be returned. Great job, Treasury Department. More than 1 million stimulus payments paid to dead people. And $1.4 billion locked up doing nothing, not helping anybody. And they don't even care. Tucson police are in turmoil after the death of a Latino man in custody. The police chief has offered to step down following the release of a video depicting the death of a handcuffed man. Not sure we can take any more awful videos, but we'll describe it to you. As David Menschel says, "Good Lord, this one is awful. A handcuffed Latino man pled for his nana as he was restrained in an impermissible police hold for 12 minutes until he died. The video was concealed until today." So we have another George Floyd, a Latino man in Tucson, Arizona. We can't read it because it's in the New York Times. But
June 18th, 2020.
Playing video behind the thing. Good stuff, Times. Oh, well, let's just keep going. We're going to make it. We're going to make it through the news. Just a reminder from Steve Mnuchin, your $1,200 payment should have lasted through this week. I remember that $1,200 payment. It paid one rent check. There's 1 month of rent, and now it's gone. That was it. I sure could have used another one. Of course, the Senator Mitch McConnell is blocking every single bill in the Senate, so nothing has passed. Our government is broken. Give up on a second stimulus. Just let people die. Who cares? The CDC lost control of the coronavirus pandemic. Then the agency disappeared. The world's premier health agency pushed a flawed coronavirus containment strategy until it disappeared from public view. Could the United States have stopped the outbreak completely like Taiwan and New Zealand have done? Probably not. But could we be Germany with way, way fewer cases and deaths and less economic dislocation? Absolutely. The United States could have responded better to this crisis, and as Truman said, the buck stops here. As Trump said, I take no responsibility. We'll see if that's going to last. They're going to come. They're going to take all your documents. Here in Las Vegas, at a suburb called Henderson, multiple employees at Whole Foods have tested positive for coronavirus. The Whole Foods says that they need to close the store before they risk more of their employees and customers' lives. We'll see if they do. Remember, the virus affects you even if you're crazy rich. You're crazy rich, you're stopping at Whole Foods, you don't care. The workers who work there, they can't take sick days. They get you sick, you take it home to your family, and they get sick and die. It doesn't matter how rich you are. The coronavirus will come for you. And it's always just a good idea to wear a mask and to think about those, the least among you, and think about how you could make things better for them with health care and days off so that maybe they won't get you sick and they won't kill your family. Today, Trump is finally doing something about the pandemic. Today, he's filing a brief in the Supreme Court to end the Affordable Care Act and take health coverage away from 20 million people. Once again, it's almost as if he wants people to die every day. Trump ended funding for 7 coronavirus testing centers, yet wasted taxpayer money on going to Wisconsin to do a town hall with Hannity. Makes sense since he's corrupt and useless. Happy Thursday. And Common Dreams is starting to ask the question that we're all asking. Why is Trump so enthusiastic about Americans dying? It's almost if he doesn't work for this country. He works for a different one. And we did a little pre-show this morning. Some people enjoyed it on Twitter. I showed some videos of my records here. There's a Jane Fonda workout record. That's a classic. Johnny Cash, mood music. And eventually I'm going to pick out a record, take it over to the record player and play it. We just listened to one side of this record before the show started. Of course, you can't play music on YouTube, so let us not unmute this file and play it. Look, there it is. Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. Great album. There's Napoleon. There's the Trinity Library. Bringing it over to the record player, doing some of that record stuff, and then we all listened to some record before we started the show. So it was very nice. But we made it. We've made it through the show. We survived. Thanks again to our 9 patrons at World Crypto Network on Patreon, patreon.com/WCN, where you can sign up to support the show with your credit card. You won't even have to spend any Bitcoin, and you won't have to worry about buying your Bitcoin back after you've donated them. I know people have a real hard time doing that, even though it's pretty simple. But check that out at patreon.com/WCN. Check out the World Crypto Network store. It's like donating, but you get a T-shirt. We've got the Treasures Don't Float T-shirt, the Bitcoin Not Bombs Bitcoin Halving 2020 edition, and the World Crypto Network shirt, all at worldcryptonetwork.store. Check out the World Crypto Network audio podcast. It's up to date because I've been updating it. It's on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Overcast, and many other places where podcasts are served. Thanks so much to the 30 or so viewers for sticking with us on YouTube. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, a share, subscribe down below, and hit the bell for notifications if you'd like to be notified about this show. It's also a good idea to follow Mad Bitcoins on Twitter and follow World Crypto Network at World Crypto Net on Twitter. Just in case we get cut off like last time, the announcements and other links will probably appear on Twitter. Checking in again with the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is down 0.27% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 9,288, a high of 9,348, and a low of $9,011. That's $1 for 10,765 Satoshis. The market continued to lean long with 82% heading that direction. Volume was a little high for a weekday with 5,766 Bitcoins changing hands, and Bitcoin dominance was at 65%. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye.